Flashing light warning. Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've posted a gaming-related video here. A while back, I played the game Beyond Blue on my Switch and wrote up some of my thoughts. I compared it to the Endless Ocean series, and originally that little write-up was just posted to the Endless Ocean subreddit as text. Now I've decided to adapt that post into a short video. This won't be a hugely in-depth review, but hopefully I can give you a decent idea of what Beyond Blue is like. I will be discussing the plot later in the video. Before I get into that, I will give a spoiler and content warning, but the whole video will spoil locations and gameplay mechanics. Okay, let's start by talking about the amount of content. This game is pretty affordable. It cost me $25 Canadian in the eShop. However, it is also very short. I finished the whole game in 2 sittings. There are only a few dive locations. There's a coral reef in the South China Sea, a deeper twilight area where the sunlight is dim, and a midnight area deeper than the sun can reach. There is also an open ocean zone where you're near the surface in an area so deep you can't see the bottom. This place kind of feels like the reef map without the reef, although there are some different species there. There's a coastal area that is quite similar to the reef as well. Speaking of the coral reef, you can visit it at 3 different times of day. Seeing it at sunset, at night, and around midday adds a bit of variety. The deep sea area is also subdivided, but you're basically getting 3 biomes: shallow, medium, and deep sea. The locations are far less numerous and diverse than those of Blue World. There's no freshwater diving in this game. I didn't count the number of species, but I think it's safe to say that it's pretty small compared to the vast array of creatures in Blue World. Gameplay. There is basically no mechanical progression. I think I might have unlocked a different color of light to shine, but it might have been unlocked from the beginning and I just didn't notice it until I was prompted to use it. If I were a more diligent reviewer, I'd go back and check, but, you know, it hardly seems worth starting a new file for that purpose. There are no air tanks. Your character uses a rebreather, and there is no air gauge. There is no character customization. You play as a woman named Mirai. The game is split into different dives that play out in order and advance the plot. You swim around, finding and scanning animals. You can scan a creature by getting close, centering the screen on them, and holding a button. Sometimes you need to do more in-depth scans with a drone. Between dives, you can walk around your submarine, which is pretty cool, though it is small. You never go above the surface in this game. You can't pop your head above the waves to look around, and your sub never surfaces either. Unlike Endless Ocean Blue World, in this game there is no salvaging, no map to fill in, and no aquarium to curate. It's a very mechanically simple experience. Graphics. The game looks pretty nice. The surface of the ocean in particular is beautiful. The models for larger animals are very detailed and most are animated well, although the flaps on one type of squid glitch a bit and some parts of the deep-sea jellyfish seem to clip through other parts. Some smaller creatures have mediocre models that aren't as convincing. The lighting is generally nice and the larger animals are expertly textured. The way the tentacles of the deep-sea jellyfish flow is very fluid and beautiful. The animals are rendered in high resolution, but as you can see, they're a mixed bag. In Endless Ocean games, every creature is lovingly modeled and given lifelike animations. In Beyond Blue, the big creatures are modeled and animated well for the most part, but small creatures feel less lifelike. Overall, the game is not as lush and vibrant as Endless Ocean. The coral reef is somewhat dull, and the deep sea is just sand, rock, and darkness. At times, though, this game looks spectacular. It can approach photorealism, which makes the blurry textures and simple models in some places all the more disappointing. There is also significant pop-in. It is very noticeable. Mirai is the only human that is fully modeled. Other characters are represented by static images when you talk to them over your radio. Audio. The game is fully voice acted, and the acting is quite good. The music and sound effects are fine, but they don't stand out as great. Story. Spoiler warning for the plot, but I'm also going to put in a content warning because I'm going to talk a bit about disease and death. Before playing this game, be warned. The story deals with real-life issues like environmental degradation, sickness, and death. If you don't want to deal with the suffering or mortality of people or animals, this is probably not the game for you. It's not relentlessly dark by any means. There are ups and downs that feel realistic. For example, there are turtles repopulating an area they had disappeared from, which is great. On the other hand, there is illegal underwater mining and a toxin harming whales. Your character's grandmother has dementia. The death of a whale is depicted on screen. The story ends on a hopeful though bittersweet note. Most animals are thriving, the illegal mining is reported, and Mirai and her sister end up becoming closer. Overall, the plot is fairly simple and handled well. As in real life, beauty and joy exist alongside sickness and loss. The game doesn't ignore difficult realities to make the player feel like they don't need to worry about the natural world, but it doesn't wallow in misery either. The game is, at its heart, a sober but hopeful depiction of efforts to protect the environment. Conclusion. Overall, I'd say that this game is worth playing. The price isn't too steep for the few hours of ocean exploration you get. As I've said, if you aren't in the headspace to deal with heavy themes, this might not be the game for you. There are some sad moments, but there are also moments of swimming alongside beautifully rendered whale sharks in warm, sunny water. If this game sounds like something you think you'd like, it might be worth picking up. Just don't dive in expecting something as deep as an endless ocean.